In this session, I will highlight some points related to object-oriented design, and in this I will be discussing about what actually objects are and what are the classes, and I will touch upon the advantages of object-oriented design. Gradually in subsequent sessions also I will try to explore different aspects associated with object-oriented analysis and design. If we talk about object-oriented system development, we talk about three aspects associated with it. The first one is object-oriented analysis, which is concerned with the study of the system, having proper understanding of the domain, and then develop an object model of that particular domain. And then comes object-oriented design. In object-oriented design, what we try to do is that we try to develop the architecture of the system, and we try to see how actually the requirements are met during developing the architecture of the system. Object-oriented design is also concerned with developing an object-oriented system model which basically implement our system requirement. So how actually we are going to implement system requirement, it's all totally depend on what kind of design we are having. Basically we transform our design into code, and then finally that particular code is going to work as our system. Next comes the object-oriented programming. Once we have done analysis, on the basis of that we develop our design, and if we are having design using a specific programming language which we have decided for, we implement our design in that programming language, and finally we are having our system ready with us to work on it. If we very sincerely think about that in object-oriented systems, what actually objects are, how we will think about the system in terms of objects, because when you are designing, you have to design your object, and then only that object you can implement with the help of certain concepts which are available in object-oriented paradigm. So objects can be thought of as an object is an entity that has set of data, that is also called attributes of the object, and set of defined operations which operate on that set of data which is associated with it and provide the services. So in a nutshell we can say that objects are the entities which are actually participating in our system to perform the different operations. Now question arises that how we will find the object in our system. What are the different objects in our system which are going to play a role while we are running the application, when we are reaching towards the actual goal of the system, or when we are looking for fulfillment of the requirement of the system, which we try to find out during analysis, then we design that particular and finally implement it. So thinking in terms of object is very essential. Once we actually think about objects or in terms of object, then it is easy for us to think about total system and to see that how different objects are interacting with each other in the system and how those objects are playing different kind of roles. Now if I am saying here that playing different kind of roles, it very clearly means that what kind of operation we are expecting from different objects, that operations are being fulfilled or that kind of services are being provided by those objects. Now if we move little bit further, we can say object in terms of abstraction of real world system entities, and those entities manage themselves. It means what? It means that any independent entity in the system which is having some data associated with it, which is expected to provide some services, and again I mention here that services are provided in terms of implementing the operations, which are also known as implementing the methods, implementing the functions. So in all these different terms you can see that how actually the functionality of the system is coming up. That functionality of the system is coming up with the help of the functions or operations, and those operations making these objects self-sustainable. Whenever object is there, that object will definitely communicate with some other object, and once the object is communicating with some other object, then how it is communicating? One term we use in object oriented concept is that is message passing. So through message passing, one object communicate to another object. Now what is actually message? The message is a kind of interface which is being created or being generated between two different objects. And what is that interface? That interface is supposed to provide some kind of service to the object which is requesting for the service. Now what is service? Service is again that you have implemented in terms of certain code, very clearly crispy defined definition of that specific service you are having, and that you have implemented through a method. So actually our method are being used for communicating among the objects. Now another point if we see in object oriented philosophy, that is the objects encapsulate data and methods. That's why they are independent entity, and whenever somebody is trying to communicate that independent entity, they have to request for some service, and that service comes in form of responding to a method or calling to a method. Information associated with a specific object at a particular moment of time is represent the state of that particular object. Now for a minute let me discuss here some real world object and try to find out what is the meaning of state associated with it. As a student, if you are registered in a particular semester of program of MCA or BCA, then you are having some role to play in that. You are having your independent existence in that particular working system. So a student can be seen as a independent object. Now how we will define the state of that particular independent object? The state of the independent object will be defined in terms of providing the specific value of the attributes at a particular moment of time. Let us say before examination or appearing in your final examination, you are a student of some specific semester. You are whether eligible for appearing in practical examination or not, it's all depend on how actually you have attended your practical classes. On the basis of that attendance percentage, it is decided that whether you are eligible for appearing in exam or not. Now how it will be decided? It will be decided by that particular characteristic associated with you, whether you have passed the criteria of attending the examination or not. Again that characteristic will be based on your state. State is again defined with what? Defined with the value which is associated with you. That is whether you have attended particular session required for appearing in the practical examination or not. Similarly, let me take another example. Let us say a banking account. In that, if you are you are having your account number, you are having some other associated information with that, you are having some balance available in that account. If let us say we have performed some kind of operation on that account, and that operation, let us say we have deposited some amount in the account, then some kind of operation which is affecting the value of the attribute is leading towards changing the state of that particular account. Now if I have deposited some amount in that account, it means the status of that individual account object has changed. Now balance will be different. So it will not be exactly the same status which was just before depositing the amount in that particular account. In that way you can see several objects associated around you, and you can find out that how actually they are changing their value associated with them, and once the value is changed, obviously the state of that particular object is changing. But whenever you are performing the operation, you are in the process of certain kind of decision making, the state of the object plays very vital role. As I mentioned earlier, the system functionality is expressed in terms of object services, and object services are nothing but methods, and those methods are implemented with the intention to offer specific services to meet the specific requirement of the system. And one more thing, because we are arguing here that objects are independent, so they are not sharing data. Here it means that if we are talking about two different objects, so obviously they will be having their own value associated with them, and the associated value will decide their individual state. So two objects are not sharing data, and if some other mechanism is required to make such kind of things, then you have to think entirely different. But in object oriented system, when you are talking about the objects are independent entity, and they are having whatsoever value associated with them, that is independently associated with them, and always any two objects are different, they are not sharing the data. Here one thing I make very clear, that we talk about the concept of reusability. Reusability is obviously talks about that if you are having something already and you share that, but that reusability is little bit different than this sharing of the data. There we talk about that if some concept you are already having, some implementation you are already having, and you are building on that particular implementation, so the object which is sharing some functionality and data, it is coming in the form of the hierarchy from top to bottom. So that hierarchy is providing a different kind of aspects associated with the reusability of the data and the functions, not sharing of the data of two different objects. If two objects are on the same level, then definitely those two objects will be having two different data associated with them. That data value may be same, but those two objects are entirely different. The concept comes that how actually we will implement the object. So in that context, we think about that what are the different types of objects associated in our system. If there are different types of object associated or available in our system, then what we try to do is we try to group the similar objects and make the class of that particular object. As I mentioned, if we are talking about a student object, so all the students which are having similar feature may be grouped together, and you can make a different group, and that group you can name as a class. Similarly, accounts we were talking about, so accounts which are having similar characteristics, they all can be associated together and they can make a group, and that group will be representing the structure of that particular object. So classification basically formally defines the template for the objects, and they may be used to create the object. Here the term may be is essential to think, because when we will discuss about the concept of inheritance, in that we will see that there are certain classes or certain groups which we are making just for the purpose of reusing that particular at the different level or at the lower level and making some specialized object. So in that context we can say that objects are created by the class, but they are not definitely all the classes are not going to be used for creating the objects. If some classes are there and those classes are not being used for creating the objects, we have to understand that our design is in such a way that some objects are playing role as a foundation class or as a base class or as a common functionality class, and on that we are extending further and making some specialized class, and those specialized class are used for creating the objects which may be providing certain kind of services in our system. Now next aspect comes that attribute and services of other objects may be inherited as per our requirement of the design, but at the time of design itself we have to think that how actually we are going to make our class hierarchy and how actually we are going to extract different feature from different level of the classes available in our system. So here we discuss about the blueprint of object, that is class. So objects are created according to object class definition, and a class defines services as a template for the objects. It include declaration of all the attributes of that particular object which is going to be instantiated, created using that particular class, and services. And services are what? Operations, and these are also names as method. So whether you say service, method, operation, all these three things represent the same, which should be associated with an object of that class. So now we are just talking about the template. If template is ready, on that template if we are putting our specific value, we are creating different objects. So classes can be seen as object generation machine or object generation implementation. So once we implement the class, in terms of implementation, if we see, we have to implement the class, but when we are talking about in terms of system analysis and design, first things comes in our mind is that what are the different objects in our system and how actually those different objects are going to perform different kind of operations or provide different kind of services in our system. Let us see one example. This is very simple template. In this template, let us say that we are trying to create a class named account. That class will be representing the object associated with this class. Now what objects will have? Objects will have certain data associated with it. That data is called also attribute. So certain data, what data may be for account? The data may be the name of the account holder, data may be account number, data may be the branch in which the account is opened or located, data may be what is the current balance in the account, and some more associated data, address for communication, mobile number or something associated with it. Some accounts are having some specific requirement or constraints. For example, you have to manage some minimum balance, then definitely that also you will keep as a data somewhere, so that you can check that whether the minimum balance is made during certain kind of operation of withdrawal or not. So data member you will decide, and then what you will decide? Operations. Operations are services. So what an account is expected to operate or service? An account is expected to operate that it will provide facility to see the account status, what is the balance available, provide the facility for deposit the amount in the account. So deposit may be a service that you will think and you will implement it, and then withdrawal of the money from the account. So that withdrawal you may think as a service and you may try to implement it. Similarly, many more operations associated with that you can think. Now, if we think about different kind of account, then what we are trying? We are trying to expand our requirement and we are trying to associate with more services. So if a generic account we are talking about, there is a basic account, in that you are having some associated operation, but if we add something more, that account is of a specific type, let us say current account, then what you will have? You will have some more associated data with it. You will have some more different kind of operation associated with it. If you are having some fixed deposit kind of account, then definitely the characteristic will be entirely different in that. Then you will think about creating different class for those kind of accounts. So those will be different classes. All the account functionality will definitely not come into your one thinking, or just by thinking that for all kind of operation you will think about one account only. So that you have to think at the time of analysis that what kind of different accounts you are going to operate in your system. Then at the time of design you will think about that whether you have to create separate classes or you have to create separate template for different account and operate on that, and define different kind of operations and services on that. And similarly for other systems also you will think like that only. So that is very important for us to think about that what are the different objects which are taking part in our operations and how actually those objects are performing the different kind of services in our system, which is given as per requirement of the system or decided as at the time of the freezing the requirement of the system. So this is one template. If you try to find out that what other kind of template we can think about for different classes. So let us say we talk about student class again. Then what we can think? We can think that a student is a generic student, and that student is having some kind of information associated with it. That information definitely will be the student name, roll number, the program in which student is registered, and the semester in which student is currently pursuing, and many more. And then you may have some other classes also associated with that, that how courses are managed. Then again you may think about in that system that how actually the different teachers are participating in different activities. So all these things together making a educational system. So in that educational system you will try to find out different objects, and once you think about different objects, then all the objects of that type will belong to a group, and that group you will make as a class. And in that class you will define the template. As you can see here, the template is that it will have some data, that is attribute, and it will have some operation. So here I am not giving very specific example, but in time to come you will find definitely some specific example and discussion around that how actually we can freeze our requirement, and how we can actually decide that these are the operations and these are the data. On this only we have to perform the services of the system, and then only we can implement that particular using a specific programming language. Now coming to one important aspect, that when we are doing object oriented analysis and design, then what kind of advantages we may think or we may extract. So as I mentioned that objects may be taken as stand-alone entities, that's why they are easier to maintain. So individual object you can maintain because they are stand-alone entities. Objects are potentially reusable component, so that can extend your aspect of implementation further. You can reuse the object. Once you have created, you can use that particular template to further enhance and develop some specialized operations associated on that particular. And understanding of the system is easy, as many times there may be obvious mapping from real world entities to object oriented systems. So because object oriented philosophy is very much associated with our real life activities, real life scenario, how actually we do in our real life, exactly the same way we think and we do in object oriented analysis, and obviously at the end in the implementation it will be very easy for us to develop the system and manage the system. So with this session I am concluding here, and in next session we will be meet again to discuss some aspects associated with object oriented system development. Thank you very much.